Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Alien Romulus, second weekend box office. It's in at number 2 this weekend. Deadpool and Wolverine took the number 1 spot, but Alien Romulus wasn't actually far behind, to be perfectly honest. And the drop-off has been pretty damn good, all things considered. Right? All things considered, it's been an okay drop-off. I will be very, very interested to see what this does moving forwards. But the box office is actually comparable to MCU films, which, you know, when you've got MCU money invested in a film is not great. Okay, a 60% drop-off is not great when you're spending $200, $300 million on the movie. Okay, it means that the opening weekend, like, you really have to hit huge, huge numbers. But this film, with $80 million spent on it, plus a 30% tax break from Hungary, 60% drop-off's alright. And that's domestic. The international numbers haven't fully come in yet. But, right, welcome ladies and gents. In the time it's taken to make the video that you're just watching, that I've just interrupted, there has been an update. Okay, so I recorded this like 2 hours ago. There's been an update. We now actually have the global total of Alien Romulus. And it's estimated $225.4 million. That's mad. That's really good. For an Alien film in its second weekend, given the fact that the last Alien film did 240? Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. So, not bad at all. Shall we have a look? I'll show you the updated numbers that came in. So this was, again, an article over on Deadline. And they've just accumulated the sort of updated figures and the estimates as well. And as you can see, it's basically all talking about Alien Romulus and other movies' worldwide international totals. And then adding them to their domestic totals and giving you its breakdown. So it says leading all play overseas. So, like, number 1 overseas was 20th Century Studios' Alien Romulus, which added $41.6 million overseas. That's only a 35% drop-off. So it dropped off 61% domestic, but only 35% internationally? That's amazing. That is, like, so good. Again, remember, a great metric to go by is the behemoth of box office, or former behemoth of box office, Marvel, which generally speaking does a 60% drop-off from one week to the second week. Alien Romulus comes out with a 35% drop-off internationally? That's insane. So it's raised its offshore global total to $152.8 million. So globally, the total is now at $225.4 million through Sunday. Cool, we're in profit. We are in profit territory now, I think. I think that's very safe to say it's in profit territory. An $80 million budget with a 30% tax break. I don't know exactly how Hungary does their tax break, because some countries, like the UK for instance, their tax incentive is we will give you 30% of your production budget back. Hungary's tax incentive of 30% may be a 30% sort of rebate on the tax that they pay. I don't know. But still, 225.4 million is brilliant. That's really good. And it says this: as much as it did last frame, China continues to overperform for the Fede Alvarez directed installment, sticking number 1 and now at a strong $73.3 million in China. Now, ordinarily, for any film that isn't a Disney film, you'd be like, oh yeah, China's pretty, who cares? But Disney does have a strong distribution share with China, so they will be making good money there. And like, yeah, number 1 at China still. It is the second biggest Hollywood movie in China this year, behind Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire. That's madness. And Romulus has injected some much needed business into what has been a lackluster summer locally. Mauen is predicting a $114 million market finish. So the estimated $225.4 million worldwide is already 94% of the lifetime global cume of Alien Covenant's $240.9 million. So this is a success. There's no way in hell it can't be a success. Romulus has exceeded the lifetime cume of A Quiet Place Day 1. And Japan is still due to be released in September. And Japan will be a very big market for an Alien movie. Like the sort of Southeast Asia, they are all about monsters and aliens and sci-fi. They love it. They absolutely love it. So top markets to date: China, the UK, Korea, France, Mexico. IMAX Global, 31.2, which I did cover in the previous video that I did, which I'm now having to edit this into. That's the second highest grossing horror movie of all time. What's the other one? What's the number one? Prometheus. Prometheus is the number one horror title of all time. And this week it will beat that, because it only needs like an extra $1 million. So Alien Romulus is a huge success. Resoundingly. You just can't argue with it. That's great. It's a brilliant success. This has breathed new life into the Alien franchise, which was much needed. Good times. Genuinely great times. I would be surprised if, say, in 3 to 6 months time, maybe even a little bit longer, we don't get word that they've greenlit, more Alien movies. I think that they will. There's no way that they don't. This is a big success. And if my advice to 20th Century Studio, don't give anyone a bigger budget. Don't give anyone a bigger budget. You've still got the assets from this film. You can reuse some of them. Don't do a bigger budget. It doesn't need a bigger budget. Keep it small. Keep it small. $80 million. I mean, you could go less. You could actually go less. Anyway, there you go. Update, and I've got to try and figure out how to splice this into this video now. But like I said, Alien Romulus is kind of the big deal here. And we'll look at some of the other numbers as well. So Disney 20th Century Studios Alien Romulus isn't far behind Deadpool and Wolverine in second. It did 16.2 at the domestic box office, so more worldwide. But the whole figures aren't in yet, unfortunately. And they probably won't be in for like another 2 days or so. Not 100% accurate anyway, because this is playing huge in China, which Disney does have a better distribution deal with China than other studios, because Disney loves that slave money, I guess. So anyway, like I said, minus 61%, which is actually comparable to Marvel movies. Now, ordinarily, a Marvel movie, that would be, that's 60% drop-off's not hugely great, obviously. When it's for a Marvel movie that costs like $300 million, like Jesus, you have to make your money opening weekend, or else over 50% drop-off's not great. But for an $80 million movie, if you're opening to over $100 million worldwide opening weekend, 6% drop-off's not bad. It's not horrendous anyway. So it says here that's a much better hold and second frame than the previous 2017 installment, which was Alien Covenant, which only did 10.6 million. Now, obviously, you adjust that for inflation, it'll probably be comparable. But as a drop-off percentage, that's a huge drop-off. It was 71% drop-off from week 1 to week 2. Now, the interesting thing, people are really wanting to go to great screenings for this, right? So IMAX, for instance. IMAX cash was $2.1 million for stateside total for the large format exhibitor of $11.6 million. Now, the IMAX Global is $31.2 million. Now, why is that important? Because that doesn't sound like a big number. That actually puts Alien Romulus at the second highest grossing horror film ever in IMAX. That's great. That's amazing. And this week, Alien Romulus will surpass Prometheus's $81.8 million in IMAX as well. So basically, it will become the biggest horror film in IMAX ever. So that's really good. It just goes to show that people are wanting to watch this film on the best screens possible. So, but it's a pretty big success, I'd say. Don't see why not. Again, got to remember, this movie was actually made for streaming. The budget was locked in. but they chose to release it in theatres instead. And I say made for streaming. It was going to just release on streaming. And then the executives were like, no, let's release this in theatres. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I think this is what the franchise needed. A rebirth of the franchise. Not necessarily whether you agree with the movie or not. But it certainly has breathed new life into the franchise. And it really did need that. You know, this is a big get. If in its third week it grosses over $200 million, which it should do, maybe, this is good. This is good. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Love to hear it. Cheers, take care. Bye-bye now.